Hello everyone, this is Ponder on Weather. In this update, we've got some big changes ahead over the coming days. Heading into next week, we'll be tracking another storm system, bringing very heavy snow and a round of severe weather, including possible tornadoes. Then an Arctic blast trails heading into the first week of December. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. How are you doing out there? I appreciate all my followers. Hope everyone has a safe and happy Thanksgiving and spending time with the family. I know I got to get together at my house this afternoon, so I'm going to do a video this morning to keep you well ahead of the storm. So let's get right to it and take a look at this storm system that's coming into Thanksgiving right along here into New Mexico. We've been talking about this storm for the past couple of days. And it's been pretty significant, and it's drastically slowed down, and because of that, it's really increased the moisture levels in a good chunk of Texas and a part of the deep south. We're going to be looking at some very heavy rain, and then some snow is going to be flying into New Mexico. So let's break this thing down for you. It's right along this cold front here, and this low pressure center just kind of sits and spins, dumping that heavier snow into portions of Denver, heading into portions of New Mexico, and then right into eastern New Mexico. That's where we could be seeing some heavier snow flying today. That'll drift into parts of West Texas with kind of a mixed precipitation into the panhandle. But out ahead of it, we got a chilly rain for a good chunk of Texas, and actually heavy rain for parts of the Dallas-Fort Worth area, extending into South Texas and East Texas. That'll swing into portions of Louisiana. Those storms can be severe side and could include some smaller hail and some stronger wind gusts as we head into the afternoon time frame. But it's going to be right along this boundary. We'll be watching some storms break out and some freezing rain headed up into portions of Minnesota. But all the actions further south with this low pressure center that just doesn't really go anywhere for tomorrow. So the snow still sticks around. We'll be adding to these totals. This will slowly drift into portions of West Texas. But yeah, the heavier rains continue for a good chunk of North Texas into Central Texas. We're talking Austin, Dallas, back into San Antonio, into the Houston area, just really along this boundary into the deep south here into Louisiana, back into Mississippi and Alabama, heading into the Georgia area. Further to the north, we could be looking at some, mixed precipitation further up here into the north to upstate New York, getting into Vermont, New Hampshire, back into Maine. I'm not really expecting too much out of this with just sporadic rain showers further to the south, but that storm system is going to be finally on the move by the time we get into Saturday. We still got a wet, at least first half of the day in a good chunk of the Dallas area, heading into East Texas as this system will slowly finally move out. Now it'll shift the heavier rains back into good portions of Arkansas, heading into portions of Tennessee by then, and to Mississippi and Alabama. Again, we could see some kind of mixed precipitation. I'm not expecting much, trailing on the backside of that cold front that'll be swinging across, and this will continue to swing up in portions of the Ohio Valley as we get into your Saturday night time frame. We'll be watching another storm system that's going to be starting to take shape up here into the Pacific Northwest with another cold front. This one's going to be fairly significant, bringing some heavier snows trailing on the backside into Idaho, into Montana by then. So as we head into your Sunday afternoon time frame, there's that storm system will continue to lift northeast, dumping some kind of light to moderate rain showers in around the Ohio Valley area, back into the Carolinas. That'll swing up into portions of Pennsylvania and upstate New York, getting into portions of that kind of mixed precipitation and parts of Wisconsin, as well as into Michigan. Notice the freeze line. That's well to the north of this system. So most all of this is going to be in the form of rain. So as we move through your Monday, getting into Monday morning time frame, that storm system will be continue to lift off the northeast. That'll be swinging into Maine by then. Any snow is going to be trapped up into Canada because that's where the freeze line will be, and then just kind of a light to moderate rains back swinging across on the backside, into the Ohio Valley time frame. You can see the clearing out in a good chunk of the central and southern states, while we'll be watching our next storm systems really starting to take shape into the Pacific Northwest, bringing much colder conditions, and the snows coming back for them. And then, of course, rain along the coastal regions. But what's going to be significant as we head into your Monday afternoon time frame, we're going to start the slow beginnings of a ridge that's going to be developing into Alaska. So we'll be watching this ridge really build into Alaska as well as into Greenland this time. We'll have a trough going to be setting up underneath. That's going to bring some much colder air to the northwestern regions, but out ahead of it, temps surge. So they rapidly rebound, and temps kind of, rebound for a day or two. So it's a quick, very quick warm up before that cold front heads into Tuesday night. So, but we'll be watching our next storm system because this has got some very cold air heading into Tuesday back behind this system. But out ahead of it, it's almost kind of a deja vu because we'll be watching that other storm system tracking through the Four Corners region, heading into New Mexico. That's almost where the same system is right now. So by Tuesday afternoon, we'll be having another storm system over that kind of same general area. But this time, we've got rapidly warmer conditions trailing out ahead of it, and that's going to be significant going into Tuesday afternoon. So this one's going to bring some snow with it, and some heavier snows at times into portions of Utah, heading into northern portions of Arizona, heading into northern portions of New Mexico, as well as into Colorado here. But then the difference is this one with the colder air mass, that's going to be swinging a swath of snow into portions of Nebraska, heading into South Dakota. But notice to the south here, that's an indication where the moisture is starting to creep up from the south as the winds turn around, as the dew points really surge. But back behind it, we've got going to have a sharp temperature gradient as we head into Tuesday afternoon, with that very cold air mass trailing behind it and very warm air mass trailing out ahead of it. And that spells trouble with severe storms, especially with the dew points gonna be so high. But check out the temperatures as we head into Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, all those areas and kind of these areas right here in the mountain regions, we're talking below zero. These are high temperatures, folks. So this is definitely some colder air trailing behind that, with teens showing up into Nebraska, back into the 20s in Kansas. But out ahead of it, look at the 70s surging into Oklahoma, upper 70s in Texas, and then near 80 degrees further south. So that is definitely an indication of a 30 or 40 degree drop in temperatures trailing behind an Arctic air mass or a stronger cold front. And this definitely gives you an indication this is an Arctic air mass. We're looking at the dew points of all those areas that are below zero. That indicates that the strong Arctic high trailing behind there. But the concern is the dew points, the elevated dew points as we head into Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night time frame. Whenever you start to see low 70s and near 70 degree dew points, that spells trouble. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is. That's an indication where we could be looking at some severe storms, as this sharp temperature gradient will tap into that air mass. So as we head into that Tuesday night time frame, they had a day 7 risk now. This is now, of course, day 6 as it gets closer to the event. This will slowly shift, but the Storm Prediction Center has highlighted that slight risk for severe storms, basically just Dallas eastward into East Texas, into portions of Oklahoma and Arkansas, into Louisiana. Yes, this is the same type general area that saw that tornado outbreak back into the first part of November. And so we could end the month of November with another round of storms, because the Storm Prediction Center is already highlighting some intense vertical shear in this area will overlap the unseasonably moist boundary layer, basically those higher dew points, and will bring damaging wind gusts and tornadoes within this area. So we'll be fine-tuning this, as this is definitely a concern as we head into Tuesday timeframe, with all that instability coming back into play going into that Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday night timeframe for severe storms. So there's the setup to the northwest of there, because it's got some colder air trailing behind it. So that snow line, by the time we get into that Tuesday afternoon, we'll be looking at severe storms out ahead of it, we'll have that snow swath swinging in portions of Kansas by then, getting into Nebraska. That'll swing into portions of Iowa, heading into Minnesota, going into Wisconsin as we head into your Tuesday afternoon. And there's the setup by Wednesday as this will continue to move across eastbound, setting up a squall line as this is going to be racing across good chunk of the southeast, heading into the Ohio Valley, going through Tennessee, going through Kentucky here. And then on the northwest side of there, that's where the snow is going to be flying in portions of Wisconsin here as this will lift into the northeast. Look at the Arctic high pressure, 1040 Arctic high pressure, trailing behind that cold front with that colder air continue to pour in. So here's some high temperatures as we head into Thursday. That's a drastic difference. So you're chilly right now further to the south, you rapidly warm up to near 80 degrees, and then boom, there's your high temperature, a 30-degree drop. So it's a rapid swing in temperatures further south, but all the areas to the northwest of there, these areas are high temperatures are below freezing or as we get into your Thursday time frame. But there's the setup where the storms will be and the higher temperatures before that sharp temperature gradient, that 30-degree drop out ahead of that cold front. So as we move into your Thursday afternoon time frame, that low pressure center will continue to move across. Will be off the East Coast by then, with the snow impacting portions of Canada by then. So there's not much snow to speak of for good chunk of the Northeast into New England with these two systems coming across. But we do got Arctic air trailing back behind it, and that's going to be significant as we head into December. But look at the drought. Here's the updated drought monitor. This updates every Thursday, so I wanted to highlight this. We've been pretty dry. We've been in this La Nina since 2020 for about 2.5 years now, so this is fairly significant. We've got some decent rains further to the south because 80%, I mean, we're talking 81% of the country is abnormally dry. So yeah, definitely all the rain that we need. We definitely need it in a big way, especially in these areas further south where they're seeing that exceptional drought, extreme drought, even into extreme drought and severe drought along these areas. So notice where the heavier rainfall will be over the next 7 days, right across this boundary in a good chunk of Texas, into Oklahoma, into Arkansas, back into Louisiana and Mississippi and Alabama. Look at the graph down here at the bottom hand corner of the screen. Easily 2 to 4 inches. Further to the south, we're talking basically 6 to 8 inches in some of these areas in and around, say, the Houston Metroplex, back into Beaumont, portions of, say, Baton Rouge into New Orleans area. Those areas could pick up probably 6 to 8 inches of rain just between now and the next 7 days, and then lighter amounts as you extend further northeast. But yeah, pretty good swath as this comes across. The atmospheric river will be swinging portions of the northwest, and this will dive down, and most of this will be in the form of snow. So let's take a look at your snow, because there's going to be some heavier snows. Now, this is the storm system that's over New Mexico, over West Texas. Some of these areas, yes, in eastern New Mexico and far west Texas could pick up even some double-digit totals, if you can believe that, because the low pressure center just doesn't go anywhere, like I showed you, for like literally about 2.5 days. So with all the rain and the snow is going to be falling with this system, that's fairly significant. But back behind it, here's the cold front and the snow that the cold front that's going to bring heading into next week, with a good swath for the northwestern regions up here into Idaho, into Montana, back into Wyoming, and then that will swing across into Colorado, and then another good swath will start to set up into portions of Kansas and in Nebraska, going through northwestern parts of Missouri, heading into Iowa, going into Wisconsin. This could actually shift a little bit further north, heading into Minnesota, but there's not much snow to speak of for a good chunk of the Ohio Valley heading into the Northeast, into New England, except the far extreme portions. But what's significant? What is going to be significant? So I showed you the ridge that's going to be developing on the backside of that first cold front that's going to be swinging into that first couple of days of December. But we're going to have that ridge really starting to take shape over Alaska. Look at the well above average temperatures in Alaska, but this time we're also going to have a ridge that's going to be developing over Greenland. That's going to be significant. So positive setup over the top pulls the colder air underneath. It creates that funnel that we're going to have, so that two blocking mechanisms and the colder air, it gets trapped south. So as we head into your first week of December, this is your ensemble guidance on the GFS guidance headed into, say, that December the 6th time frame. Look at all the colder air funneling into the lower 48. And with this blocking mechanisms, with the negative EPO, the negative NAO, and the negative AO, all that cold air gets trapped into the lower 48 and probably stays around a while going into December. So I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video, definitely leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch the latest update where I protect you before and after the storm.